Hello everyone, how are you? I'm teacher Kabada. Today's lesson is a new lesson which is going to present about grade 12 students model English questions. So it helps you to prepare to get a good result in the English examination. And finally, I'll give you some model questions. After just I'll complete giving some more exercises. So this is the first part or part 1, 10 questions. All the 10 questions are from grade 12 English textbooks and as well as some reference books. So the more you read or the more you practice answering the questions, the better you improve scoring good results in the final exam or grade 12 the university entrance examination. So the first question, please. Have you ever blanked the dams? Have you ever blanked the dams? 4 distractors are written here. To answer the questions, first you have to just underline or analyze what kind of question is this. So have you ever? What do we use have mean and you here? And the best word which gives clue to answer the question is ever. Ever is an adverb which most of the time used for present perfect. So if it is present perfect, the last word here is which is simple past or past participle of the given verb here. Have you ever visited the dams? Which doesn't give meaning. So distractor A is not the answer. Because have plus verb 1 is not meaningful. We don't have such kind of English structure. Have you ever visited? If someone asks such question, no answer is given. Have you ever visited? Absolutely right. Because have plus verb 3. And there is a verb, an adverb here, ever. So have you ever visited the dams? So the answer will be what? Yes, I have visited. No, I haven't visited. So we can get these expected responses from these questions. If you insert distractor B, visited, which is the past participle form, so the verb visit. The third one is C. Have you ever visiting? Have you ever visiting? Have plus ing, which doesn't have a meaning, so this distractor is not the correct answer. So I'm visiting, I was visiting, I have been visiting, or I will be visiting. Will be and was or were plus ing is appropriate. But in this case, there is a verb have plus visiting is inappropriate structure. So this is not the correct word. The other here, visitors, which is simple present, singular verb. But the question doesn't need this kind of distractors. So here, the answer is visitor. So the question is present perfect question. The second question here, I haven't finished it. Blank. I will do it after dinner. So here, what you focus on the structure first. I haven't finished. So this structure is present perfect. So what kind of adverb is really complete for the question? I'll do it after dinner. Why I will do it after dinner? Because I haven't finished. How long have you finished it mean? No time is limited here. Just I haven't finished it yet, alright? I haven't finished it yet because the sentence here is negative. So we can just use it for negative questions, negative statements as well as for questions in present perfect and sometimes in present perfect continuous, which is one of the adverbs in using for present perfect or present perfect continuous. So the appropriate word to complete this question is yet means. Yet means until now, which has negative meaning. So from this structure, yet will be the correct answer. One. And the other that you choose yet is it most of the time appears at the end of the sentence. It means I haven't finished it yet means still I'm doing something. Still I'm doing something. So I haven't finished yet the right answer. Still until have the same meaning, and for doesn't use for such kind of question. So to answer this question, first you have to just read the statement here. I haven't finished. What does this imply? What kind of distractor does the question need? So you depend on the statement here, and finally you try to just answer the best word to complete for this question. So you should have a rationale to answer the grammar questions. Unless you have the rationale, that, you'll be in confusion to answer the correct word. So what rational is important behind it? So the rational is haven't finished, which is negative present perfect, or it is yet it mean. And number 3, most students think that mathematics is blank than other subjects. We have two things here, the subject mathematics and the subject other subjects. So it is going to compare the subject mathematics with the other subjects. Other subjects can be counted as one or a group in one, so 2 groups in totally. If there are 2 groups or 2 persons or 2 things, we have better use degrees of comparison. So that's why there is the word than. It is preceded with a kind of comparative form. It means what? So the best clue that you are intended to answer this question is there is a word than here. If there is a word than, so the best answer from the given distractor is only comparative. If there is superlative doesn't complete the question. So this is the best way, the best your strategy to answer these questions. Let's come to the distractors here. More expensive. Actually, the word is here, but expensive doesn't have the possibility to answer the question. Expensive. We cannot use the word expensive for mathematics and other subjects. Expensive in terms of price, in terms of cost. This jacket is more expensive than the dress. This book is more expensive than that book. So we can use expensive in this manner. And the other, more diligent is not the right word to complete for the question. More beautiful. Beautiful, it shows or it compares about someone's beauty. This class is more beautiful than that one. She is more beautiful than her sister. So we can just use beautiful for in this case. So this is the question, the essence doesn't is beautiful, diligent, expensive. So the question is whether the subjects are difficult or easy. Right? Complicated or not complicated. From this essence, the answer is more difficult here. Why we use more difficult? Because this adjective is longer syllable adjective. Difficult, 3-syllable word. So it takes the prefix more difficult, and this is the word than. So we compare to subjects here, mathematics and other subjects. So most students think that mathematics is more difficult than other subjects. This is correctly the right word. So the question is degrees of comparison. So you have to be take care of or be tactful to answer the questions here. So before you answer the question, you have to read the statement completely. And then you directly come to the directors. It was blank expensive restaurant I have ever been to. Yeah. So here, let's see the question is in the same content, which is degrees of comparison or maybe superlative or positive degree. More expensive, the more expensive, most expensive, and the most expensive restaurant. Yeah, one is here. This is I have ever been me, which is I have ever been, which is present perfect. Most of the time, whenever we use simple superlative degree, we most of the time we use present perfect. Yes, present perfect. From this, yeah, more. It was more expensive restaurant. No, more expensive. If you use more expensive, there must be 2 hotels here. All right, there must be 2 hotels, and no word is here, so more is not the answer. So it doesn't show to compare 2 things or 2 restaurants here. So more is not the correct answer here. One is no comparative word that. So we reject this distractor. The more is wrong structure because degrees of comparison, especially for more, doesn't take the prefix definite article that. No need to use this article. So when we read this one, this was the answer complete, this was the answer complete within a microsecond. And most here, most expensive. Most is of course true, but it needs an article. No article is written, so this is not also the answer here. So the most expensive restaurant I have ever been means I have visited many restaurants in the town. It means the implied meaning here is I have ever been to means there are many hotels in the town. I have visited these many hotels or many restaurants in the hotel. These are such meaning. So I'm going to talk about the hotel which I visited. One of the hotels in the town. So these are the meaning. So the answer should be what? The most expensive restaurant I have ever been to. The right structure here. So we can just most of the time use the definite articles whenever we compare one from the other or things which are more than 2, 3 up to the infinite numbers. So this is the rationale or the logic behind I'm coming to answer the most. Question number 5. She finished blank than everyone else. Yeah, one is here. Still the question is comparative. There is that here. So we consider two things. We consider two things here. That more quickly. Yes, more quickly, because quick is an adjective and ly, adverse of manner. So whenever to compare two things or two items, we most of the time part of speech either adjectives or adverbs. So in this case, quickly comes from the adjective quick, so we can just use quickly. For instance, he drives slowly. He drives quickly. Drives means, and it's a verb. Quickly means an adverb which modifies how the driver drives, which means the verb. So we sometimes use an adverb to modify adverbs or an adjective here. From this sense, she finished more quickly than everyone else. Everyone else is as a group 1, and she also herself compares with everyone else. So quicker, we can use quicker here. Quickest, which is superlative, no. And the quicker, it doesn't take the article in this case. So this also is not the answer, but the right answer is here. The right answer is what? A, it means right, more quickly. Comparative, which is adverbs of manner. Adverbs of manner. Absolutely right. The next question is, I'm not blank sheets. I'm not blank sheets. The choices are here: as successful as, so successful than. This is negative comparison because there is negative word formation here. Not means here, not as, yeah? Not as, either adjective or adverb, plus as, 1, not, so, plus, adjective or adverb plus as. This is called negative adjectives, yeah? Negative if the first one is not better than the other, if the first one is lesser than the other, we can say negative. If it is negative, we have better use these two structures mean. From this definition, from these meanings, or from this intent, we have better use not as successful as. Yes, as successful. Successful is an adjective. Success, a verb, right? Look here. I'm not as successful as she is. That means she is more successful than I am. Yes, she is more successful than I am. Or I'm not so successful as she is. I'm not as successful as she is. Both are acceptable. I depend on the question or the negative word marker here. So the right structure here is B. But so successful than, it doesn't take that because the structure here is negative. So distractors is not the answer. Number 7, it hasn't been raining blank lunchtime. It hasn't, which is the present perfect continuous. The question is about a kind of adverb which completed for the question. Yeah, for lunchtime. What does for lunchtime means? Because for it means for period of time, yeah? For period of time. Period or length of time. Length or duration of time. But the question doesn't differ about any duration, any period, any length of time. So we cannot answer or choose this word. For every day, for a long time, for a month, for we are arriving, for a few minutes, we can say length of time. Just means an activity finished before the expected time. Just I have just finished, but the question doesn't mean just yet. Just means an action completed before a short time means I have just finished means I'm free now. Since means which is start of time, right? Start of time. Start or beginning of time, right? Or point of time, it is, alright? Point of time. So this time is point of time or the start of time. So the right word to complete the question is since. And about is not the correct answer. It's a preposition, but the rest of the words are an adverb. So simply looking the word about, this is not the right one, so I simply reject this question. And this one for length of time, this is not the right answer, so I simply reject the word. And just for not, it's an adverb, but it doesn't have the possibility to complete this question, so I simply reject the word. So here, since it's the right word, because it touches about the start of time. This is the logic, the rationale to answer the grammar questions. Let's come to number 8. Don't drive, you may hurt someone. Just these questions are either adjectives or adverbs. So when do we use adjective? When do we use adverb? As I told you before, adverbs are words which modify verbs. One, which modify adverbs. Second, which modify another. Adjectives, third. What about adjectives are words which modify only nouns? From this definition or perspective, so what is the correct word here? Don't drive, you may hurt someone. So it doesn't just touch or ask or touch about the person who drives a lorry, but it touches about how he drives, because there is a code here. You may hurt someone means it wants us to show about how he drives the word. So the answer should be dangerously. Don't drive dangerously. Don't drive dangerous. No. Don't drive dangerous. Don't drive dangerously. You may hurt someone, right? If you insert dangerous, you drive dangerous. No, you drive dangerously. You may hurt someone. Dangerously drives or shows about or modifies about the verb drive, because this is adverse of manner, as I explained before here. Dangerous. The road is dangerous. Yeah, the road is dangerous. So dangerous in this case is an adjective which modify about the noun, the road. Yes, the road is dangerous. All right. So dangerous modifies the road, but dangerous doesn't modify the verb drive. So this is a different distinction between how we use adjectives and adverbs. So before you answer the question, you first just read the question. You may have someone means it shows about how he drives, how fast he drives. So this might give you a clue to answer a kind of adverb to complete for the question. This is the rationale. The rationale. Number 9. The dictionary you gave me was very bland. Helpful, helpfully, helped. This was either adjectives or adverbs. The dictionary you gave me was very what? Here is the best thing that you underline to answer the question is you are talking about or you are underlining the dictionary. This is a kind of noun. If it is a kind of noun, the best word is helpful, which is an adjective which comes from help me. Help is an adjective and helpful is an adverb, which is an adjective here, and this one is a verb. So this adjective comes from the verb by adding the suffix ful or full, helpful. So I'm talking about how much the dictionary is helpful. Yes, the dictionary is helpful. So this is the right way to answer the question. Helpfully, yes, helpfully. Helpfully is not the answer here. The last question, I don't know what you want from me. Yeah, I don't know what you want from me. Honest, honestly, honestly, and honest. Yeah, what honest means? Yeah, honest person, an adjective. Honest man, an adjective. But this question doesn't tell you honest means. Yeah, honestly speaking, which is another verb of manner. So this refers about a person that you speak honestly. So honestly is the right word. Honestly, we cannot say honestly. And honestness, we cannot say honestness. So the best structure here is honestly. On the whole, to answer these grammar questions, you focus on, you directly read the question repeatedly and find out the clues from the sentence. And finally, you are intended to answer the questions without doubt. This is the first part of the model questions. All the questions basically focuses on either adjectives or adverbs, and also degrees of comparison, or also what? adverbs, especially the present perfect adverbs. I will continue to the next part of the question, which mainly focuses on all the 12 tenses. Thank you for today's lesson. Bye.